Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to In Depth with David. This is the 10th and unfortunately the final recap that we will be doing for the Bruins. Bruins, if you did not know, their season ended last night. They go down in 6 games to the New York Islanders. But we, have a responsibility to recap every game, and regardless of how the playoffs go. And I mean, this is a possibility at some point that your team isn't going to be able to win it all at the end. And for the 8th straight year, or 9th straight year, whatever, I'm losing count at this point, the Bruins come up short and do not win the Stanley Cup. But once again, I'm joined by my cousin Bryan to help me with this recap. How are you doing today?
Not good. Not good.
You and me both. And before we get into this recap, I'll just tell a quick story that I was working today. I worked 8 hours at my place of employment. I'm not allowed to say it on social media, but anyways, I was working. That's the whole gist. And someone walked into my my store with an Islanders hat on. And keep in mind, we both live in Massachusetts. And I saw this Islanders hat, and I immediately wanted to go up to this person and flick it off of them. So just add an insult to injury.
You're just there to do your job, You don't necessarily want to be there, and that guy shows up with an Islanders hat. I mean, come on.
I didn't think Islanders fans existed in this part of Mass, but
I don't think they do. Maybe he's just trying to stir the pot, get some reactions. Probably maybe he doesn't even care about hockey.
Yeah, he knew I worked there, and he knew I'm a Bruins fan.
You're that guy from In Depth with David. I've seen those podcasts.
He's the one viewer. Yeah, he tried to trigger me. All right, let's just get the show on the road. What were your general takeaways from the game last night before we get into it? Other than it being disappointing.
Yeah, it was disappointing. Didn't come out as good as we didn't look as good as Game 5. I think either team could have won, but at the end of the day, we had some mistakes, defensive mistakes that cost us, and there's 3 mistakes that stick out that if they didn't happen, we could have won the game. But we made those mistakes, and we got to live with the result.
Yeah, just disappointing for me. I would agree with you to an extent where I think if you look at just the first half of the game, you can make a case for either team winning. But second half of the game, it was all Islanders, and after that second period, you just knew it was over.
But once they get the lead, it's hard to get it back from a team like that.
Oh, for sure. So we'll get into this recap. First period, Matt Martin had a wide open net off of the rebound, but his slow backhand chance allowed Rask to come over in time. So it's just nice to see the Islanders, at the time at least, not capitalize on an empty net. So, it was nice to see Rask actually being able to come over and make the save, because we'll figure it out in a couple of days. And that's not a knock on him, but we'll figure out in a couple of days what was really wrong with him. But you could just tell, at least in these last couple of games, that he was really bothered by something.
Yeah, I don't know if I guess just, as the games piled up and as he kept playing through whatever injuries he had, they just must have kept getting worse because, we talked about it a lot throughout the beginning against the Capitals and, the start of this year. Rask was great, but I guess, as he went on and played more games, whatever was nagging him probably got worse. Because he didn't look great the past 2.
So Peugeot for the Islanders on a separate sequence later in the first period feeds it to Dobson. Dobson's shot from the point was a pad save by Rask, but the rebound gets to Zajac in front of the net, who buries it home. And just like that, the Islanders draw first blood and go up 1-0. On this play, McAvoy couldn't corral the puck. And once again, it's just another, unclean play for the Islanders that they benefit from. Another, what seems like the millionth goal from right in front of the net, but Rask can't do anything because he can't move around. So it's just pretty much over once the Islanders have the puck on their stick and they're right in front of Rask. And
we're missing Kevin Miller and Carlo with that. They're good at clearing up those chances because they're defensive minded, the 2 of them, and we're missing them, keeping the chances away from the very front of the net. But we didn't have them, and we paid the price.
Well, and it's going to be a long night too when it was McAvoy who couldn't corral the puck there, and
when he was getting harassed all night, McAvoy. They were really targeting him.
Oh, we'll talk about his incident with that other player that I have a beef with now. Yeah, player on the Islanders. If you're watching at some point, I am not a fan of you, and I never was. And I hope you get fined 500,000 and get suspended 50 games. But after that, and this play kind of gets lost in the whole midst of things that happened in this abysmal game last night. But Taylor Hall had a chance on net, and he could have backhanded it and tried to score on the play. But instead, he tried to pass it to either Craig Smith or Krejci behind him, and it just got broken up by the Islanders because they're an amazing team defensively. What the heck was Hall thinking there?
I don't know. He was just absolutely surrounded by players. I mean, he could have just easily shot that. I think he had a much better chance of, getting that shot on net than making a pass. It would just have to be a prayer of a pass to actually go through.
In games 5 and 6, Hall was just way too passive for me. And for someone who I was a big fan of, as you were too, when we first got him, we thought he would provide a boost for that second line, and we'd have two quality lines now. Obviously, he struggled with Buffalo this year. People say he wasn't trying or whatever. That's, null and void at this point. I thought he did really well in helping the Bruins become the best team since the deadline record-wise. And, he was pretty good in the playoffs, but 0 points in these final 3 games. That's got to be one of the biggest disappointments for me.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. And I just remember, I don't know if it was game 1 or 2 or maybe both, but Hall was on. He was just shooting the puck a ton, and he had so many chances. And, for whatever reason, he turned it off, just stopped shooting. And it's tough because, our first line, when they're out there, they can dominate like long stretches of the game. But when they're the only line that's doing it, you're not going to win many games. And, that's why we have Hall to give us 2 lines. But the past 3 games, it wasn't happening.
And it was so weird because, as you said, I think it was even both games 1 and games 2 where the second line was really getting in the groove, getting great opportunities. And then it was really Krejci who just carried them. Obviously, I think it was in game 4, Smith came back in the lineup and he had a goal, but it was really Krejci who carried that line for the rest of the series, and just nothing to be heard from Hall.
And I think a lot of Krejci's points, the past few games have been on the power play too, not even necessarily with his two guys on the second line.
So after that, Beauvillier trips McAvoy, so the Bruins get a power play opportunity. And on this initial power play, the Bruins overthought a lot of things, a lot of bad turnovers, really struggled to just get a shot on net with the one-man advantage. And thankfully, though, after an abysmal power play, we were bailed out by Cizikas tripping Taylor Hall. So the Bruins get a 5-on-3 for 14 seconds. They do nothing with that, but it goes back to a 5-on-4 power play. And then we just get vintage Bruins on the power play as Pasta fires a pass to Marchand, who was waiting for it from the left faceoff circle, and his wrister goes past Varlamov and in. Bruins get a power play goal and make it 1-1 right before the period ends.
Yeah, that pass, like Pasta, they probably expect him to shoot when he's in that spot, but he did it. That was an awesome, slap pass. Probably fooled everyone and got it right on Marchand's tape somehow. But
and the 2 things that were amazing about that play were obviously the decision by Pasta, because having someone like him as a facilitator on the power play is just so dangerous because you have to be prepared for him to not only pass it but shoot it as well. And he had an excellent fake on the play. And that's just also vintage Marchand. I mean, we've seen him do that so many times over the years where he just sets up in that faceoff circle and just nails it in. I think his overtime winner in the Cap series was just like that. Obviously a little different. He had a very similar play in Game 6 of the Blues series. I know I keep bringing it up, but that's the first thing that came to mind. So we've seen Marchand do this, and that's another thing too that we'll talk about. People say in basketball that Game 6 LeBron or Game 6 Clay is a real thing where, they're down 3-2 and they show up in Game 6. Game 6 Marchand is a real thing too.
You know what else is a real thing?
What's a real thing?
Like fancy suit pasta or like crazy suit pasta. I saw something on NHL Instagram, and it was like every time it was just pictures of him in crazy suits and then his stat line that night under it, and he puts up a ton of points when he's wearing crazy suits. So that's also a real thing, but you can continue. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just saying, obviously it didn't have any impact on the game last night, but Marchand was the only one who really showed up. And back to the Pasta thing for a second. If we get Pasternak to show up in every game in a crazy suit and also wear the Barbie glasses that he did for that outdoor game, he's going to score 6 goals.
We're going 82-0.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Gotta love pasta. Pasta was on the menu as a side dish on this play, as it was Marshy Marsh and the Funky Bunch who tied it up. And this was just pretty much a reverse of the Game 5, where the Bruins dominated the period, and it seems like they should have been up by more than one, and then the Islanders deflate the crowd with a goal right before the end of the period. But the exact opposite is how this first period played out last night.
Yeah, and I like to see it because getting this first goal wasn't working the past 2 games for whatever reason. So instead we tied it up at 1, and that was good. Things were looking pretty good. I was a little optimistic after that tied 1-1, but
oh, right. I mean, Islanders dominated that period, so I was looking forward to being just tied after 1. And before that, though, right before the end of the period, the Bruins don't tie up the puck behind the net, which was surprising. Bergeron and McAvoy both had a chance to do that. So Cizikas, being the heads-up player he is, gets it to Palmieri after jabbing for the puck, and Palmieri has a turnaround shot in front of the net. It goes off the crossbar right as time expires, so it stays 1-1 after 1. But you talk about these mental lapses by the Bruins also screwing us in the series. That was one right there.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. You just tie the puck up in the corner and let the clock run out. Like, that's the last thing you want the puck to end up is in front of the net with, no time left. So, yeah, it's just an avoidable thing that happened.
If that goes in, I think this game is way over than before it was really over. Because, if you get a goal in momentum.
Yeah, a lot earlier.
So, thankfully, that doesn't go in. But the Islanders, thankfully for the moment, we all know what's coming up next. And the Islanders do finish the first period with a slight edge on the shots on goal. They had 11 shots, Bruins had 10. But with just the way they were playing, it certainly felt like it was way bigger advantage for the Islanders. So just happy to be 1-1 in an elimination game. But as we head to the second period, this is where the wheels fell off for the Bruins. And this is just a true moment where the Titanic ship that is the Bruins just sinks and everyone just sinks with it. I have to apologize because I said to Brian in the text message before the second period, I'm feeling a 3-piece in the second period. And I was right, but for the wrong team. So maybe I am a jinx because I said we were going to win Game 5. That didn't happen. I guess I guaranteed we were going to win Game 6. That didn't happen. So, charge at me with your pitchforks, if you will. So my apologies to all the Bruins fans. I know Bruce is watching. I'm sorry I let you guys down.
God. Bruce will be happy he has someone else to blame this loss on.
Oh, surprised that's coming. I think I'll talk about that later, but people might start pointing the finger at him based on this series. But getting into the second, Kuhlman played, I think we saw this where Kuhlman played on the first line with Bergeron and Marchand a bit. And they had an opportunity early in the period where Kuhlman got it to Marchand, and Marchand got it to Bergeron on the right side, but Bergeron's wrister was saved Varlamov. But even though that was just such a simple play, that was really one of our better opportunities all night. And just Varlamov doing what he's done this series, just great goaltending once again.
Yep, he's absolutely shut the door.
Then in a later sequence, this would be arguably the best period of Matt Grzelcyk's career. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, he put up 2 assists. So
absolutely. So
pretty nice.
Grzelcyk, he was trying to advance the puck on this play, but he gets his pocket, before we get to that, we get to the dirty play with Palmieri, because I just want to get this out of the way. After the whistle, Palmieri gives McAvoy a little love tap behind the net where he elbows him in the face. McAvoy falls to the ground in agony. The trainer has to come out. Might have been bleeding in the mouth or whatever, but McAvoy had to go to the locker room for a bit because of this dirty play by Palmieri, where there should have been a penalty.
Yeah, they had to patch McAvoy up. How many times have we, I don't know, after whistles throughout, the Capital series and this series, we've seen penalties called for much less after the whistle than, a headshot on a guy who was just not ready for it. We've seen penalties for much less, so I don't know how that didn't get one.
And that was completely unnecessary because McAvoy didn't even give him a shove or anything. I think he held on to him for a second after the whistle, but that was probably just to keep his balance. And Palmieri knew he was skating behind him, and he does that. There should have been a penalty for that. And going back to the the whole like after the whistle scrums, like I'm all for just throwing a few punches after the whistle. I have no problem with that, whether it's the Bruins doing it or the team against the Bruins doing that. But this is just unacceptable. There's no place for that in hockey.
No, it was dirty, and it was like McAvoy had no clue that was coming. He wasn't in a position. He wasn't in a position to defend himself, and he just ate Palmieri's elbow right in his mouth, and
he got away with it.
Yeah,
no fine yet.
No, it was dirty.
But I shouldn't be surprised because knowing the idiots who are known as the NHL's player safety department or whatever it's called, I don't know because I don't listen to idiots, so I could care less what their name is called at their department. I'm rambling on. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point, but whatever. I'm not surprised by the whole thing.
I think they're still processing Orlov's fine.
Yeah. They might just revoke that. Who knows? Wouldn't put it past them, but now we will get to the Grzelcyk thing. Grzelcyk tried to advance the puck in the Bruins zone, but he got his pocket picked by Brock Nelson. Brock Nelson gets a little bit of a breakaway, and he scores past Rask, making it 2-1 Islanders. Once you just saw that the puck landed on Brock's stick and he was breaking away, once again, you just knew he was going to score because it's just so hard. Rask's injuries are dealing or preventing him from being able to make saves on close plays like that.
Yeah, and I don't know. Grzelcyk's got to get rid of that puck quicker. I was happy because I think Nicoletti on the Islanders tried to make a breakout pass and went all the way around the boards and went to Grzelcyk, and I was like, oh, like that's nice. He intercepted that, or we can, he should have just dumped it, but instead he tried to do a little stick handle around Nelson or whatever, and Nelson made a great play. It was a really good play by Nelson, and Nelson he was skating faster than I thought he was capable, and he buried it. So yeah, Grzelcyk with his first assist.
And I mean, I'm giving Rask a bit of a hard time. Obviously, he was injured, and that play definitely isn't on him. You just can't do that, Grzelcyk. And when it rains, it pours because the two defensemen we're supposed to be relying on with Carlo and Miller out, being McAvoy and Grzelcyk, are the two people who are somewhat responsible for the Islanders' first two goals.
Yep, and it hurts. And I mean, they're grade A chances right in front of the net. I mean, it's tough.
And all these goals this period really could have been prevented by the Bruins. Every goal, I think it's fair to say that every goal we'll talk about was based on a Bruins mistake, and the Islanders doing as they've done all series, just capitalizing on every little minute mistake that Boston makes.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether or not the Islanders carry the play. If we make a mistake, they capitalize it. Whether or not they're dominating the game doesn't matter. They just any opportunity they have, they seem to capitalize on.
Right. I mean, it's just that was one of the more frustrating parts of the series. Nothing to take away from the Islanders, but it's like, are we snake bitten or something? They're literally benefiting off every little mistake we do. Like we could try and just shoot the puck at the end of the ice as the period's ending, but the puck will get to the Islanders and they'll do like a headshot off his helmet, and then the puck will just end up in the net. Just something stupid like that.
Somehow, some way.
Right. Just how the series was. So Islanders on the Grzelcyk mistake retake the lead 2-1, and then later in the period, Rask makes an ill-advised pass off of his stick towards Riley up against the boards. Riley can't corral it. Bailey steals it, gets in front of Brock Nelson, and Brock Nelson scores the second straight goal for the Islanders, giving them a 2-goal lead, making it 3-1. He got the puck once again right in front of the net. He made a backhand deke that fooled Tuukka, and that was all she wrote on that play.
I mean, Tuukka has to make a better pass. He kind of passed into Riley's feet, and it's not really much Riley could do about it. I mean, if it's in your feet, it's tough to handle, and Rask kind of handcuffed him, and just the Islanders capitalized, as we said, on every little mistake.
Do you think Tuukka maybe should have made a play where he tried to advance it more up the ice, or do you still try and get it to Riley, but you wait a second? I mean, it's a tough play. You got to move quickly, but I probably would have rather seen Tuukka try and advance it more up the ice.
Yeah, for sure. I don't whatever he does. Just as long, if that goes on Riley's tape, we're fine probably. But when in his skates.
And then Nelson with a nice little move because once again the 1.1 millionth goal by the Islanders is right in front of the net, and they capitalize. I mean, I'm going to keep saying it, but like, good God, like every single goal but 3 this series for New York was literally right in front of the net as I can't talk.
Yeah. It's, I mean, it's defense, and that one wasn't so much on the defense because we were in possession of the puck, and you expect that to be broken up, but that was more on Rask just making a bad pass, I think. But either way, the defense has to clear the front of the net.
You think we would have figured it out by game 4 or game 5? Like, hey guys, hint, hint, the Islanders aren't switching up their game plan. They're just going to keep trying to score from in front of the net. Let's try and do something about it. And I mean, I get it. Look, we were tough. We were screwed with depth defensively when Carlo and Miller were out, but I don't know. You got to try to
figure it out.
Right. You're NHL players for a reason. I mean, I wish I was in the NHL, but don't listen to these recaps, Bruce, just to get some ideas on how to figure that out. You're a head coach. Figure it out for God's sakes.
Bruce.
Then in a later sequence, Adam Pelech had a shot from the point. Pad save Rask, and this is where Grizzly Bear gets his second assist as he tried to clear it from right in front of the net. This is the second time this period where he got his pocket picked. It was right in front of the net, as I just said. Paul Mary gets it to trickle in, and the Islanders take a 3-goal lead as it's now 4-1 Islanders, and the Islanders just really ran away with it in the second period. This one maybe was worse than the first Grizzly mistake because it was right in front of the net, and Grizzly literally just, moved right into it, and Paul Mary just stuck with the play, got it to trickle in, and that's all it was.
Yeah, I mean, we don't make those 3 mistakes. We don't let up 3 goals. Like, it's just avoidable things.
That big second periods, that's another story of this series for the Islanders, them just really pulling away in the second and just being able to stave off rallies by the Bruins in the third.
Yeah, they kept bringing that up on the broadcast that the Islanders have been such a great second period team, and they have been.
So Paul Mary just jams it in or gets it to trickle in. 4-1 Islanders. That would be it after 2 periods. And I mean, we all know what happened in 2013 with the Bruins and Maple Leafs, but you really don't. I really wasn't feeling confident at all.
No, that's once in a lifetime things. That game. I mean, they would have been. Yeah, I don't know. Repeating that was kind of out of the question.
So we get to the third period. Maybe this is a bit of a hot take, and I get it. Maybe it's because it's an elimination game, but I thought they would have went to Swayman again.
Yeah, it was. I was considering myself. It was like, I wasn't sure who we were going to see taking the ice, but it was Rask.
Because, it's another rough night for him. One of those goals is definitely his mistake, and you'd like to see him make some plays on all those goals. But I thought it would just be a repeat of maybe game 5 where we put Swayman in just to try and get a spark. But, You go with your best goalie in an elimination game, no matter if it's 4-1, 8-1, 16-1, which it felt like last night. You stick with Tuukka, and that's what they did. First opportunity for the Bruins here in the third was Corrali tried to get it to Nick Ritchie in front, but Casey Zizekias made a nice diving play to break up the pass. And that play just is the epitome of how well the Islanders did all series and just forecheck-in, playing defense. I mean, as much as I don't want to, you have to tip your cap to the Islanders. They just – I see it on your face right now. You don't want to keep going through this. Like, this is just –
I'm not ready to tip my cap quite yet. I'll tip my cap to Varlamov, but the cap tipping stops there. For right now, it needs to process.
I'm not tipping my cap to the whole Islanders team. Maybe to some of them. Definitely not to Paul Mary, that's for sure. But just a nice play by them. That's what they've been doing all series. And then Matt Martin tripped Joe Tenorti, so the Bruins get a power play. Krejci feeds it to Marchand in front. He backhands it in. It is now 4-2 Bruins. So the Bruins have a little life, and we get another power play goal. Marchand would end up only scoring our only 2 goals of this game, and we have life.
Yeah, we had life, and I mean, we really. How much time was left? Like 15 minutes or something like that.
15 minutes, and you're down by 2. I would have liked a little bit more from the team.
Yeah, you'd really like to see another one before the clock hits 10, but we really couldn't get much going after that Marchand goal.
Yeah, so It's just great to see us doing well in the power play, but it meant nothing. I mean, in the end, uh,
Yeah. Let's hope we can carry that over to next season in 4 months.
yeah. They're going to review this film before the first game of the next season. Just guys, I know we had a 4-month layoff, but great power play last game we played. Let's keep it going.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice power play. I liked Martian boxing out Mayfield in front, and I would have been a little bit scared or probably turned off the TV if he didn't score on that play.
I thought he might miss again, but
yeah, because he was taking forever. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, get the backhand in. And it's a pretty soft backhander, but thankfully it went in. And 4-2 Bruins, and we think we have a little life. I mean, there's 15 minutes left. You're not ready to jump on the bandwagon, but you'd like a little bit more than what transpired after that.
yeah.
So that would be the last highlight for the Bruins, as Clutterbuck and Ryan Pulock add empty netters for the Islanders, and the Islanders win the series 6-2, or they win the game 6-2, and they win the series in 6 games 4-2. Bruins went the final 15 minutes of the game with only 1 shot on net, I believe, and they went the whole third period with only 2 shots on net. So just, it's only fitting that the problem we dealt with in the whole Cap series, and maybe for part of the Islanders series, I can't really remember, but we score a goal and then we just let our foot off the gas. That's the epitome of that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think probably that goal wakes the Islanders up. Like, yeah, that's it. We're winning this game. No more of that. And they did, and it was not fun to watch.
And I mean, you see Bruce trying everything. He split up the perfection line. He was mixing up all the lines, but it was just too little too late. And I mean, I'm sorry. I kind of wish he did something like this earlier in the series. Maybe after game 4, maybe after game 5. I mean, well, last night was after game 5, but I wish he mixed things up a little bit more. And I'm not trying to completely point the finger at Bruce, but like, when you don't win a series that's as winnable as this, some of it has to go back to coaching, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know. With those 2 defensemen out, why he should have give Halak and Swayman sticks, let them play defense.
I would have been for that. I mean, I don't know if they've ever played. I mean, screw it. It's elimination game. Just try it. But
that was too bad. I don't know. I mean, game 5 we looked great. So, but. Yeah, I know it was too little too late when, you see him start throwing random combinations out there when we're like so far behind in a game already. Like, just would be such a long shot to get back. And
I know it doesn't matter, and I'm probably reading way more into it, but like, why do you pull the goalie when you're down 5-2 and there's like 50 seconds left? I don't know. I just, maybe it's like a whatever, just throw something at the wall and hope it sticks.
I mean,
the game is far from over at that point.
I mean, I don't know. Yes, at that point we're not worried about defending. We're not worried about keeping pucks out of that. We're just worried about putting them in. But
it's just you want to make the box score look even worse than it already was. Let's lose 6-2 or let's lose 7-2. I don't know. I'm reading too much into it. It really didn't matter. It's just something that confused me because I mean I'm not the biggest hockey guy. I'm starting to become a little bit more of a fan. I mean maybe that'll change and I might not watch a single hockey game after this abysmal series ever again. But I mean, I don't know why you just whatever. I'm reading too much into it like I always do.
I mean, I think we're just trying to do anything we can.
Yeah, no, we were trying to throw something at the wall, and the game's over. Maybe it's a pride thing.
Yeah, I don't know. The 6-on-5, like I don't know. Just you got to do whatever you can at that point to score goals. It doesn't matter.
Don't mind me. Don't mind me in what I say. It's just stuff like that bothers me.
You just don't like it,
right? Rask finished the game with 23 saves on 27 shots. Really just didn't look like himself at all, as we talked about. You can tell these injuries, it just really, really impacted him these last couple of games when we really needed him. And then Varlamov also had 23 saves, but it was on 25 shots. And he was really the determining factor in the series turning in the right direction for the Islanders once they went to him in game 2.
Yeah, that was. I wish they kept Sorokin in. Varlamov really was. He was the difference maker. He was one of them, one of the big ones. Him and other Islanders players. But
He who shall not be named, the guy that begins with a B, was also. He didn't do much in this game, and he was a big difference maker in the
Yeah,
series.
I didn't actually notice him too much last night, but
I don't know if you know, but the Bruins had 3 picks in the 2015 draft, and they could have gone them. I don't know. I mean, the announcers mentioned that a couple times, same with NBC Sports, but I just thought I'd let you know that. Also, Charlie McAvoy's from Long Island.
really,
It's a strange
maybe
development.
just I don't know. That's gonna haunt me. Those picks, the next 3 picks after the picks, this next 3 straight. I think all 3 of those players have been all-stars, and whatever.
And just another thing, before the game started too, I forgot to mention this. That crowd singing in the national anthem themselves.
We should have went home right there.
Like I remember, obviously it was completely different circumstances, but the last time I saw that happen was 2013, right after the marathon bombing, when the Bruins crowd did that for Boston. Amazing moment, and then obviously completely different situation with the Islanders, but their crowd being able to do that, and like we all knew they were going to be rocking. Like I remember you said you could already hear the crowd before the game even started, like a day before. But yeah, that was tough.
we should have just went home.
Well, we're going home anyways, so pain. I know it's tough. Just another tough way to end the season. I mean, and the other thing that makes this so tough for me, and I'm gonna bring it up. I hate bringing this up. We literally bring this up every single time we talk, whether it's on camera or off camera. But if you win and you finish the job in 2019, and you finish the job after that was arguably the biggest cakewalk in recent years for a team to win a cup, but we blew it. If you just win the cup 2 years ago in 2019, this doesn't hurt as much.
No.
It still hurts.
No, McAvoy's let you. I don't even. McAvoy has a cup. Pasta has a cup. I don't know. I think about it so much. How nice it would have been to see those 2 guys raising the cup. Get Berger on another cup. Chara would have had 2. It stinks. It's so hard to.
I think they think about it every day too. Still, like that, they're going to think about that every day for the rest of their lives. And I'm not exaggerating.
No, they say, like though you remember the ones you lose more than the ones you win, and I'm sure that that rings true to them. I mean, yeah, it would have been so nice to see all those guys lift the cup, and it hurts.
I think that's going to be our last good chance for. I hate to say it, but that's like going to be our last good chance for a while, because I heard Tampa Bay is like 17 million over the salary cap, and they're going all in, and they've been good for a while. I know.
Yeah, but so next season, that I don't know what they're going to do, because they got to get below the cap, because salary cap doesn't apply in playoffs or whatever. And
okay.
Yeah, because they had their best player was injured like all season.
Stamkos?
No, Kucherov. Kucherov and Stamkos are the best 2. You could argue even now that Stamkos is the 3rd best player. That's how deep the team is. But yeah, Kucherov was out all season, and then Kucherov got healthy and was ready to come back, and then Stamkos got hurt and he got out. So then Kucherov came in, and they were circumventing the salary cap, as the experts say. And yeah, they're 17 million over. So I don't know what they're gonna do in this offseason, because that's a very large margin to be over the cap by in hockey, so they gotta trade away some assets or something. But yeah, salary cap doesn't apply in playoffs. You can play over the salary cap.
How do you think the Bruins would have fared if we advanced to face the Tampa Bay Lightning?
Not good. I didn't like our chances too much, but yeah, you never know. I would have said probably Tampa in 5 or 6 games. That I think they're that good, but you never know. It would have been obviously. I would have rather us won and give it a shot, but I don't like the Islanders' chances either against Tampa. I think they're solid.
I would have said Bruins in 4. I mean, I remember we all thought that the Bruins were going to get swept by the Penguins back in 2013, and we swept them. So you don't know with hockey. Obviously, Columbus 2 years ago took down the. Everyone in the media says that team is like the team of the decade. I don't know if it's pretty much the same guys, but they swept them in the first round.
Yeah, it's basically the same team. I don't know how that happened. I don't know. It's you never know.
The team of the decade. That's all I heard in April.
I think they had like the tied or something for the most wins in a season, and then they get swept in the first round. It was insane. I remember they were winning game 1 like I want to say like 3-1 in the third period, and then Columbus came back and they never looked back. It's crazy. So it hurts because you never know. Even though I think Tampa's the better team between us and them, but you never know had we advanced what would have happened.
And just another reason why 2019 hurts so much. I mean, we had a great run. We got 15 wins, but we didn't get the needed 16 wins to raise Lord Stanley. And it hurts. Hurt then. It's going to hurt for a while. Every real season since the Bruins have won the Stanley Cup, it's just really ended with a bad taste in my mouth. Probably in a lot of Bruins fans' mouth, because I'll just go through it quickly because I remember these mostly. 2012, we lose in Game 7 of the Caps in overtime. Heartbreaker, defending champs, so you go out on the first round. That speaks for itself. 2013, lose to the Blackhawks. I know you were there, and I'm sure you hate talking about this stuff.
I wish I could remember. I think I don't know. I wish I could remember it more because I don't remember that. Even though we lost, it's cool like having been there, and you see the cup and you see like some Blackhawks legends lift it. That's cool, but I really don't remember it at all. I don't remember if we rushed out or what, but I have no memory of anyone lifting the cup that day, which kind of stinks. It would have been, that's a cool memory, even though we lost.
And then 2014, we go all in. We get a Ginla, made the Sagan for Eriksson trade. We win the President's Trophy. We get bounced in the second round in 7 games by Montreal. 2015 and 2016, we don't make the playoffs. 2017, I think we lost to the Senators in the first round, I want to say.
Sounds right, yeah.
2018, we beat the Leafs in 7. What's new? And then we go on, get gentlemen swept by the Lightning in the second round. 2019 is 2019. I'm not going to say it again. I'm not going to say it. 2020, bubble season. We get bounced and we beat Carolina in 5, but then we get bounced with another gentleman's sweep for the second time in 3 years by the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then this year we win in 5 against the Caps and then bow out in 6 to the Islanders. So you got to think a lot of premature endings in the last decade since we won the Cup.
Yep. I mean, I just out of the last start from 2019 on, not including 2019. I think that this is probably the most winnable second round series we've had because it's too bad.
It's tough. And I mean, I think it's going to be an interesting offseason. I think Sweeney's going to, I'm not saying they're going to fire him, and I don't want to fire him personally, even though I think he's done not a great job just looking at it from, a casual fan perspective. But I think he's on the hot seat a bit. And if he doesn't make genuine strides towards improving this team this offseason, I think next summer we're talking about firing him.
Yeah, I don't even know. He definitely getting Hall is going to move him to, me too. That was awesome. Seeing him get Hall, but
absolutely,
he has to re-sign him. That's up to him this summer to re-sign him on a good deal too. So we'll see how that goes.
Because I don't think the Bruins can afford to just do what they've done the last few years and just make, minor tweaks, like maybe bringing a guy here or there. But I think we need to do something serious.
Yeah, I know. I'd love to see. I just hope we can re-sign Hall. I'd love to see him in a full season. I'd like to see what he has in the tank. I don't really know. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what we could do. I'm not familiar with the free agent or the trade market.
Yeah. So I think I know Krejci's got free agent too because of free agent.
Well, is there any big names for other teams on the market? Because I know Ovi is one of them, right?
Yeah, but I think Ovi basically already said he's not leaving Washington. I think Evgeny Kuznetsov, who also plays in Washington, I've heard that he is unhappy and he might be up on the market, and that'd be if we do lose Krejci, which would stink. But he is getting older. If we lose Krejci and fill that hole with Kuznetsov, I wouldn't hate that, but I don't know how realistic that is.
A viewer of the show, Joe, big fan of In Depth with David, is saying we should go into a rebuild this offseason. And I disagree. We've been going back and forth on this in text messages today. I think we should give it another run or two, maybe give it 2 more years, and maybe just invest this offseason in getting some bottom 6 guys and some defensemen. Where's your stance on the Bruins team? I
know. Yeah, it's a popular thing to say. The Bruins need to rebuild because on paper we are. We are an old team,
sure, and a one-line team. People would argue.
Yeah, but God, I don't even know what I was trying to say there. Bergeron, what is he, like 35? Which, yeah, he's old, but this year he's a Selke finalist. He put up, I want to say, like, I don't know, 40 something points in 56 games as a two-way center, probably the best in the league. That's fine. He's doing it on both ends. Marchand's on the wrong side of 30, but he
Get a
could be an
career year.
MVP. Yeah, exactly. He's not slowing down. Bergeron's not slowing down. I don't know. Tuukka, yeah, Tuukka's another one. He's old, and last two games weren't great. But if Swayman, we got to play Swayman a lot next season. See what he's really made of. If he can, relieve Tuukka somewhat, and if he's, what we saw in those 10 games this season, that'd be huge. But yeah, I don't think it's time to rebuild yet. I think, yeah, we like you said, we still got another run or two at least in us because so far, I mean, it's gonna happen eventually. It's inevitable that Bergeron's gonna slow down and whatever. But this season, really, there was no signs of it. So I think we're in good shape, with our veterans right now. So I don't think we need to panic and blow it up quite yet.
So I'm going to read off some Bruins offseason updates from a post on Instagram from this person. The user is Big Bad Bruins. Shout out to them. They probably won't ever see this, but this is them getting all the information. And we'll just do, I guess, like rapid fire. So Bruins have 22.8 million in cap space. We'll just talk about the unrestricted free agents and the restricted free agents. I guess why not? David Krejci, re-signed or let go?
I think
you go. Sorry, I don't know why I cut you off.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what his deal is right now. I think everyone says it's a little expensive. I'd be down to re-sign him on like 2 years for like maybe like slightly less money.
So if I remember correctly, he made like $6.5 million a year.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But I feel like I looked it up recently and it was less than that, and I was surprised.
I kind of want to move forward from him because we're paying Coyle 5.25, and I as decent and as inconsistent as Charlie is, I kind of want to just move into the second line.
Yeah, honestly, no, like, whatever happens, Coyle is on most teams probably a second line center. I wouldn't hate Coyle being on the second line either because you see him out there at the third line and he can dominate the play. But then again, Hall and Krejci had great chemistry and. Yeah, Krejci was good on the power play in the playoffs. So whatever happens, I think we'll be all right. But I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind either way. I mean, it'd be tough to see him go though. He is, he's one of those guys that borderline jersey number retirement, maybe borderline. I know his playoff numbers are unreal. He's
for sure.
So it's a debate for sure whether or not. I think he's got like 700 points in close to 1,000 games, which. Something great, like that's solid numbers too, and he's been a Bruin the whole time, so it'd be tough to see him go.
I'll just say we'll let him go. We'll go to the next one. Taylor Hall, re-sign or let go?
I would say re-sign. He looked
Absolutely
great. Yeah, he looked great until past few games, but re-sign.
I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I think paid off well. Obviously, didn't end the way we wanted to, but I think you bring him back if you want to.
People would go insane if we lost him.
Yeah, if you want to remain competitive, you keep him. So, couple restricted free agents, Andre Kasha and Nick Ritchie. Their restricted free agent qualifying offer for Kasha could be as high as $2.6 million. For Ritchie, it's $2 million. I don't know how restricted free agency really works in the NHL, but would you let these guys go based on what you saw?
Well, it's tough because Kasha's just a walking injury. I think he played like 3 games this season, and so I don't know if we'll keep him. But which stinks because when he was healthy, especially last year in the playoffs, he looked awesome. He was honestly one of the best players. I don't think he even put up any points, but he looked so good. And it's tough because he can't stay healthy. So I think we'll probably let him go. Which, I mean, we're not going to pay a guy to just get injured. And then Ritchie, $2 million. I mean, he scored 15 goals in a shortened season, which that's pretty good. So I'll bring him back, even though reluctantly, because I'm not the biggest Ritchie guy.
I would probably say the same. I don't know much about Kasha, but every time I think I read a headline, it's Kasha injured.
It stinks. It's too bad. He actually like, I think if Ritchie was the one getting hurt and Kasha was the one who was healthy for us, I think we would have been a different team. Kasha looks so good. when he's healthy. But
I'll
he
say
hasn't
that.
been.
Yeah, I'll say the same. Let go Kasha, re-sign Richie. Next couple restricted free agents, or we'll go this one, just this one. Trent Frederick. He can make as much as $874,000 on the restricted free agency qualifying offer. And then we have Sean Corrali, who's unrestricted.
I would definitely sign Frederick. I mean, it's cheap and he's great. Corrali, I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
I would love to bring back Corrali personally.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a big Corrali guy.
I do like Corrali. Like he doesn't put up many points or goals, but I don't know. It's a joke between me and some of my friends. Corrali only scores big goals. That's it, and we like that. So yeah, I do like Corrali too. But I'd say bring back. Sure. That's I don't know necessarily what his value is, but I'm sure we could pay him not too much and bring him back, no problem. So Frederick and Corrali, yeah, sign.
I would definitely say the same. I probably am more of a Corrali supporter than the average Bruins fan. I just like him a lot. As you talked about with the whole big goal thing, 2017 or 2018 against Ottawa, whenever we faced them, he was the only reason that series went to 6 because he had 2. He had like an overtime game winner in that game 5. So ever since I saw that, I was a big fan of him.
Yeah, he scored at a Winter Classic too against Chicago. Big goals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, this is going to be probably either the biggest or the second biggest decision behind Hall for the Bruins this offseason. Tuukka Rask, unrestricted free agent. What do you do?
Is he? I don't know if he's going to retire. Like, I feel like he said something about that in the bubble that someone asked him, like, what are you going to do when your deal's up? And he said, I might, like, there was just some answer that was not very promising, but I think we should bring him back. I mean, if we can get him to split that way, we don't rely on Swayman too heavily. We can split the time between Rask and Swayman. We can't pay him, too much because he's not probably going to be he's not going to start every game. He's going to split with Swayman, but a guy like that is so important for mentoring Swayman and like I said, just taking a load off Swayman so we don't have to rely on him too much. So I would say bring back.
I completely agree. I'll bring back Rask if he doesn't retire on the condition that we pay him significantly less than, the $8 million or $7 million on his contract. I think that's a given, though. I don't think we're going to give him that money. And I would have him be goalie 1A to Swayman, like you just said, where maybe it's like 60-40 Swayman next year, but, you don't want to put Swayman in too much just in case.
Yeah, because we don't know exactly what we have with him. And maybe it's always good. Every team in the NHL basically has a goalie tandem at this point because you can't just run your goalie into the ground anymore. You need 2 solid goalies. So, yeah, bring Rask back all day.
Brandon Carlo, restricted free agent, can make as much as $3.5 million on his offer sheet, qualifying offer, whatever you want to call it. I'd say bring him back easily.
Yeah, for that money, I would say bring him back.
Final 3 unrestricted free agents we'll go through quickly. Halak, Kevin Miller, and Mike Riley. All unrestricted.
I would say definitely Mike Riley. I mean, I'd like to see him in a full season too. I mean, he's calm, deliberate with the puck. Sometimes too deliberate. He kind of broadcasts what he's going to do to the other team. But you can tell he takes his time and makes, for the most part, good plays. And he's, like we talked about, that wraparound, it's got to go in one of these times.
We need to sign him just to see it go in.
Yeah, we do. He's his first Bruins goal. So, yeah, I'd say re-sign Mike Riley. I like what I've seen from him. Kevin Miller is another guy who's injured all the time, but I think when he's in, he's really effective and he's good for the locker room. I think everyone likes him, and he's a tough guy, and we need that. So I'd bring back Miller. And Halak, I think he's gone. I don't think we necessarily need Halak if we have Rask and Swayman. I think he's probably gone.
I'll say the same about Riley. I think we should re-sign him just for the depth. I didn't hate what I saw from him this year, and I'm going to go crazy next season when he finally puts a wraparound goal in. Kevin Miller, this one, I guess I'll disagree with you on a bit. This is my hot take. I think this is similar situation like Kasha. I just think he's just been injured too much, and it's unfortunate. Like, I love the guy. I love him since he came up in 2013, but I think we just have to cut our ties with that. And then Halak, I would also say, is gone. Whether Rask retires or not, and we bring him back, I could see us just preferring bringing up someone like Vladar instead of bringing back a lock. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be nervous about Vladar and Swayman.
Oh, absolutely.
But also Halak, I don't think he looked too good as this season, at least the few games he played. But previous seasons, Halak and Rask is probably the best tandem in the league. So whatever happens, if Rask retires, it'd be a tough hit.
He saved our season in 2018, 2019 when Rask took a leave of absence early that season, and Halak had to carry the load. He's the big reason why it didn't get away from us that year. So I definitely don't forget that, but I think it's time to move in a different direction. So
yeah, he's getting old.
Yeah, those are all the big Bruins free agency decisions. And before we wrap this up, I just want to ask you one last question. Who do you think is going to win the Stanley Cup?
It's tough. I wish the Vegas Colorado series was over because I would probably say Colorado, but right now they're behind in their series. I think they're down 3-2. So
yep.
I'm hesitant to pick them. And Vegas has won 3 straight against them. So I'll go. I want to say whoever wins that series win the cup, but that's kind of answering your question without really answering it. So I'll say Colorado, even though they aren't in the best of shape right now.
Keep in mind, disclaimer, I don't know much about hockey outside of the Bruins. Like, I like to think I know stuff about the other teams. I know Vegas, obviously, they went to the Cup, 3 years ago now, in their first year in existence?
Mm-hmm. 2018. They've been good ever since, too. They don't really have, the big names that I mean, they have, a couple of guys, but they're just misfits. They're just, guys you don't necessarily know, and, they just put together good seasons, and it's good. It's nice to see.
They got that in their first year. They got on the expansion draft. Carlson, didn't he go off 40 goals for them? And he was going to get cut by Columbus.
Yeah, he hasn't. He's been solid, but he hasn't been he's come down from 40 goals back to I think he probably around 20. But he's a good he's another two-way guy. It's not just all one-way offense for him. So he's a solid player. Do
they still have Fleury in net? I feel like they do.
Yeah, he's been unreal recently. He's a Vezina finalist this season. He has never won a Vezina in his whole career. Which is surprising.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. I'll say, you know what? I'll say Tampa Bay, Montreal, Stanley Cup Finals, because why not? I think that I just want the world to explode if that happens. And I feel like the Canadiens are just like a Cinderella team. And
I am shocked that they are where they are.
Right. I mean, they got a sweep too. They came back from 3-1 and then they just swept Winnipeg. And
that's shocking.
I think they're going to keep their Cinderella run going, and I think we're going to get the weirdest Stanley Cup final of all time, being between two Eastern Conference teams in Tampa Bay and Montreal. But I think once it gets to that point, Tampa Bay wins in 4 or 5. So I think the Lightning, unfortunately, are going to repeat, and then it'll be the end of a mini dynasty for them, as we were just talking about, because they got to figure out how to get under the cap.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do, but it could be Bruins, Canadiens.
That would have loved that. I mean,
yep. I don't know. I don't want to play. It's tough because now Toronto's going to be back in their division and they're good. I don't know how they lost to the Canadiens, and they're going to have to beat us in playoffs one of these times. So it's kind of nice not seeing them for once.
So is it confirmed, or do you think it's just a given that they won't go back to this format next year? And it was really only because of COVID, right, that they did the format like this?
Yeah, it was only COVID. I don't think they'll do this again.
Yeah, that would really be weird.
Yeah, because obviously Ottawa and Montreal are closer to the east coast of the United States than Vancouver. So
right.
Yeah.
Just another missed opportunity for Boston. Just it's how it's been these last few. I hate to say it, but look, I mean. Patriots have won 6 titles, Red Sox have won 4, and then the Bruins and the Celtics, as much as we love them, it's just they keep letting us down every year. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. Those are 2 teams I really follow the most out of all the other ones. So everyone, Boston gets all their titles and, not – well, I didn't really follow the Celtics back when they were, winning everything.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I started watching 2 or 3 years after they won the title, but, it's weird because the teams that I think Boston loves the most and the Celtics and the Bruins are just, not able to get it done. And it's just unfortunate. But I feel like one day soon, again, I'm going to call it, 2022 or 2023, we will see Pasta being 8 from the Stanley Cup.
Oh, I never even thought about that. That would be unreal. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even yeah, I've been a Bruins fan my whole life, but I don't even remember at all basically the 2011 final. It's too bad. I was too young. I mean, I went to the parade and everything, but I was too young to really appreciate it.
Yeah, I remember watching, I couldn't stay up for the whole thing, but I watched the first. Yeah, I know. I mean, that puts into perspective things and how long ago it was. But I watched Game 7 against the Canadiens, and I saw the whole first period. I'm like, yo, this Mark Recchi guy is so cool. He put us up 2-1, and then you have to wake up in the morning and figure out if they win or lose. I only got to watch the first period of Game 7 against the Canucks, but I slept the whole night in my Bruins shirt for good luck. Wake up and realize they went 4-0. And then, right after they won, it was Father's Day wasn't shortly after that. Me and my dad went to a Sox game, and they came into Fenway, the Bruins players, on duck boats, and they were throwing balls up into the stands, and got to see Bergeron, Marchand, totally David Pastrnak since he was on the team in 2011.
Too bad he wasn't.
Chara, Recchi, as I just said, Boychuk. I mean, Krejci, just a throwback crew.
Yep, it's too bad. Yeah, I don't even remember it. It's tough.
We will see pasta get eaten from the Stanley Cup, though, in our lifetime. I guarantee it.
We better. I mean, he's got to. McAvoy, too. I want to see him eating something out of the Stanley Cup.
Eating chocolate. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
There you go.
So we're going to end on a happy note there. Otherwise, a disappointing end to the Bruins season once again, but we made sure to recap it. So that is going to do it for this recap and all the Bruins-related recaps for their season. Bruins go down in 6 games to the Islanders in the second round in disappointing fashion once again. Want to remind everyone to hit that like button, absorb that subscribe button. We will have more Bruins-related content coming at some point if we want to keep doing this, maybe off-season updates or whatever.
I do something, off-season updates, maybe I don't know, every few weeks in the regular season an update. I'd be down. Yeah,
so look forward to these off-season updates in the summer or in 4 months. I mean, can't wait for the new season already. And we'll have more Celtics off-season updates coming. Patriots, when the season starts, we will have recaps of those. And then Red Sox recaps will be coming back soon. I apologize for the bit of a layoff from that, but I've just been devoting a lot of my time towards this Bruins stuff. But we will get right back on the road with Red Sox. And they're the only Boston sports team to watch right now. And, go Sox. They're doing well this year. So look forward to all that stuff, as well as personal interviews coming in the near future where me and my friend from college, Andrew, just try and get to know people on a personal level through just random interviews. But that is going to do it for all these recaps. I want to thank everyone for sticking with us through this Bruins great but short and underwhelming playoff run. Thank you so much, Bryan, for doing all these recaps with me.
Of course.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. Maybe we'll talk to you at some other time in the near future, hopefully, when the Bruins re-sign Taylor Hall to a 5-year deal.
We'll talk to you in the 2022 Stanley Cup Final.
Yeah. I like the sound of that. All right, everyone. Take care. Talk to you later.